Rogue Radio. Now available on Mixcloud at mixcloud.com/Rogue Country. Keep it rogue.
Hey guys, what's going on? It's Mike West, and this is another episode of Into the Van. We are, of course, brought to you today by Rogue Radio and Rogue Country. I'm so fucking honored to be part of Rogue Country, you know. I've been doing some guest DJ sets over on Rogue Radio, and I've been having an absolute blast doing them, and I hope you've been enjoying them too if you've been listening. If you haven't, please go over and check out if you're enjoying this podcast, if you're enjoying independent country, folk, blues, and roots music, and if you just give a shit about music in general, I think you're going to love the show. I try and play like a breadth of music, so I hit the classics like Buck Owens and Waylon Jennings, shit like that, on top of modern artists like Sierra Ferrell or Jesse Daniels or Harry Pedigo or The Broken Binding or even Alison Self, who was on today's episode. I'm having an absolute blast doing it, and I really hope you guys have a blast listening to it. It's just a way for us to create a platform in the UK for this type of music, which I don't think it has yet. There's a scene starting to, form, and we're starting to make some waves, and there's some amazing artists coming through like Mark J. Lee and Alex Connolly and Josh Bettis, and it's just got to keep going, and it's things like this and folks like you who are going to keep it going. We are, of course, brought to you today by my debut album, The Next Life. I'm really proud of this record. If you haven't checked it out, I'm going to drop in a teaser for you now.
Switching for 2 weeks, I really need to get some sleep. No rest for me. My body's aching for far too long. I still don't know where I went wrong. No rest for me. My mind won't let me sleep. It brings me with a call when I keep. Oh, my mind won't let me sleep. It brings me with a call.
If you like what you hear, please head over to mike333west.com. You can pick up a vinyl, you can pick up a CD. If you want a free digital download code, just ask. If you've been listening to this podcast and you've got this far, you deserve one. So just message me wherever you know I am, and I'll shoot you over one. Yeah, today's episode is with Alison Self, based out of Portland, and this was a great chat. She's such an interesting character, a great songwriter. Her album Honky Tonk Haze is brilliant. She did one of the best Rogue Country featured artist videos I've seen. And yeah, this was an absolute pleasure to chat to her about anything and everything, and I really hope you enjoyed this talk. So without further ado, this is episode 34 of Into the Van with Mike West and Alison Self. Welcome to Into the Van with me, Mike West.
What we're gonna do today is go to the bar after this.
Oh, cool. Well, yeah. We're rolling in it. Yeah, thank you so much for making it time to do this. I've wanted to talk to you for a while. And with this kind of podcast, I've had people in my head that I wanted to talk to. And then it's not until, because you commented on one of my podcasts on Reddit, and I was like, after hearing your Honky Tonk Haze and the skits, I was like, I have to fucking talk to Alison.
Yeah, I think it was the Charlie Marie episode, which was really good.
But before that, you did for Rogue Country, you did, I think it's the longest Rogue going Rogue video that Rogue Country's had. It's like 20 odd minutes long of just like answering these questions in such an in-depth way. And it's, to me, that really stood out, and it stood out to Josh as well, because we send out those questions to artists, and sometimes we're lucky if it breaks a minute. But
oh, really?
Yeah, but with
I love to talk about myself.
I was going to say, is that like a tradition that's been like through your music where it's just you want to elaborate on everything? And I don't really get why some artists are necessarily shy or they don't think they should talk about things for that long.
I I mean, they're probably just boring. I'm kidding. No, they just have nothing to say. I'm, the most interesting person in the world. No, honestly, I'm just like a ham, and I consider what I do playing music, but also like I'm a performer. You know what I mean? And so I want to make like make the audience like feel like they're, not like crowd participation or something corny, but just like, talking to strangers from the mic and like, cracking little jokes. Because music's fun. Like it's fun. It's supposed to be fun.
Yeah.
And so I just wanted, and it's fucking COVID. Like I was like, oh man, I get to do an interview with myself. I'm gonna make this weird. So yeah, but I don't mind talking about myself. Maybe, I don't know, I've been playing music for like 12 years, and so maybe I'm an extrovert too. I just like to talk. I don't know.
Yeah,
I was drinking wine at like 1 p.m. when I did it.
I think like once you get comfortable in kind of embracing that side, because I think when you first start writing songs and stuff and you're writing them in your room or whatever, you don't really think of crowd participation or crowd reaction. So it takes a bit to adjust to being like, I should be this vulnerable, or I should talk to people outside of this as well. But that's what I really love about your stuff. It has like a wit and a joy to it. Has that been, obviously with COVID and things, has that been like hard to maintain throughout your career and stuff? Has that been something you've always strove to find the joy in it?
What were you broke up a tiny bit? Oh. What was the question? Sorry.
It's just with everything that you like bring out and stuff, there's like a joy to it. Has that been hard to maintain throughout like your career in music? Has that been something that you always push to be like, I need to be able to bring this level of optimism to my work?
I think that, like I said, not the only reason I play music, but I want to have fun with it. Like I've dedicated 12 years of my life to it. Essentially, I'm not going to be like, I can do the sad bastard country songs, but I like to do fun stuff. And even if it is a sad song, it still makes me happy to play it. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I guess I don't know. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, no, it does. It's just, okay, cool. I think there is like a cathartism, like a cathartic expression to music that even if it is a sad song, there's still like a joy to getting it out there. And that's what I really dig about your stuff. But
yeah, thank you. I really appreciate that.
Well, take me back to kind of like your origins, because was it ukulele you first picked up?
Yeah, it was the ukulele in like 2000. I think I got it in like 2006 and kind of started playing like 2007, technically,
And what was it that drew you to that instrument? Was the kind of like the old time music? Because ukulele, I don't know if it's over in America, but a lot of kind of in the UK, it's that kind of Zooey Deschanel kooky couple.
Yeah.
We're going to make it like this is a Beatles cover on a ukulele, isn't this one? Instead of, it's a serious instrument that I didn't really realize until I saw like kind of like the Hawaiian traditions on it and stuff. What was it that drew you to that instrument first?
First of all, it was small, and I was like doing like a lot of hitchhiking and like traveling at that point, and I didn't want to like lug a guitar around. So it's small, it's lightweight. I could literally put it in a bag, like a hiking pack or whatever, and like it's got 4 strings. It's like fucking gnat flying around. Hold on, sorry. It's got 4 strings. I was like, perfect, 4 strings. I'm an idiot at this point. I don't fucking know what I'm doing. Like 4 strings sounds like a good number to me. And yeah, I did really like. So in addition to being into country, I'm super into like 1920s, 1930s jazz and like not just all that stuff, like 20s pop, and the ukulele was like really popular for certain styles. And yeah, I was like really into Janet Klein. She's a ukulele player out of, I think she was from California, and it was just like 1920s pop, just very like cool, and I was like, man, if she can fucking do that, I was like, I can do that. And I did that.
Fair enough.
So yeah. And I was bored. I lived in fucking small town. I was like, I gotta do something. This is my ticket to the big time.
Yeah. And how was it you kind of first came across that type of music? Because I know for myself, like I'm a huge metal and rock fan, and I remember, I think I read an article once where there was something about how metal songs kind of originated from Robert Johnson. So I did a deep dive on Robert Johnson, which led me to like Elizabeth Cotton and then Howlin' Wolf. And that way, was that kind of the route you found, or how did you get exposed to like that old time style?
So I've always been really into old movies. I'm an only child, and so I would just like watch Turner Classic Movies like by myself. And I was watching silent film and like musicals. Like I fucking love musicals. And so I really love Judy Garland. And I was like on Napster looking up Judy Garland songs from like, you know, all her fucking random musicals. And then it just kind of went down a rabbit hole, you know. I mean, I don't really know. There was a website back in the day called redhotjazz.com. And it was you could just listen, like stream essentially all these songs. And so I would just like sit at the fucking computer and just be like, wow, this is Bessie Smith, like this is Ma Rainey, this is you know, so and so. And I think it just yeah, I have friends who were in punk bands, and like I would go to punk shows and they'd cover Johnny Cash and like Chuck Berry. So there's definitely like that overlap, you know.
Yeah. What is it you think about like the punk and rock scene that's drawn to that type of music and that type of roots thing? Is it paying like homage to the originators, or is there something deeper on like a songwriting level or something? Because I always wonder this, because a lot of people who are into like the heavier style of stuff either move over to country and blues or have like a huge like respect and tribute to it throughout their careers.
Yeah, I think it is definitely, I think it's two things probably more that I'm not going to think of. But I mean, first of all, it's like you said, it's like a precursor to punk, like, you know, punk and heavier styles. And so, yeah, it's 3 chords and the truth kind of stuff, you know. It's simple. Punk is easy to play unless you're like, I mean, I've never played in a punk band, but I know Ramones songs are like 2 chords. So so I think it's easy, and I think it's just like kind of an attitude, you know, like just kind of, I mean, you look at, you know, early country and shit, it's like those dudes are like crazy, like drinking and fucking like doing coke and like all the things that we do now. And so I think it just is like, it's always been a fucking party, unless you're playing like Christian music, which is fine, but I don't know, then they probably still drink and shit. But yeah, and punk's obviously like, you know, was meant to be like, you know, political and all that stuff. So yeah, I did an interview about that once, or it was an interview question, and it was like 9 years ago.
Oh, really?
I came upon it like the other day looking through old pictures, and I was like, oh, I was like, I sound like an idiot.
It's always like the worst thing to like look back on something where it's when you kind of forming your opinion on something, and then you like look back on it. I remember like when I was a kid, I wrote into Marvel Comics to like just like write on, like, do you know, like when you send in and like the editor would answer your question and stuff, but it was a reprint of like a comic from like the 70s, and I think I was like 10. So I was like, it was with Daredevil and Elektra, and I was like, I hope they get together. Not knowing like 3 issues later, of course they do, because the book's been around 40 years before I was born. And I look at it, I've still got the issue, and I'm like, oh, you poor innocent little fool.
Yeah, I once was asked an interview question when I was in a trio band called Arise Sweet Donkey. This is my ukulele days. And the question was like, what kind of themes do you guys like to play songs about or write about or cover? And I was like, you know, it's just like, we try to play songs that really touch on like the basic human emotions, like love, murder, whiskey. And I was like, what the fuck is that? I just described 3 human emotions as love, murder, and whiskey. I'm fucking insane. I'm nuts.
That's not far off. That could be a t-shirt at least.
That's good. That's a good idea. I might steal that. I'll give you like 10%.
Dude, I'll definitely buy one of those shirts. It's weird though with like interviews and things, and that's what has kind of been done about this podcast, is trying to find questions and perspectives that people will find interesting, so you aren't feeling like you just sat through the same questions all the time. Because I've been on the other side of that doing music, and
for sure,
I've had some horrendous questions asked like live on radio that I've just refused to answer. And
like what?
I got asked once, it was this DJ, and he just started like naming women and being like, yeah or no. And I was like,
oh my god.
I was like, are you fucking
like, I'm fucking gay.
I was like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, one, my partner's listening to this. Like it was like that still
Wow.
holds like the level of like the worst question I've been asked. But then a lot of it is just kind of like, so you were in a metal band and now you're not. What's that like? And it's like, yeah, it is what it is. It's do you want me to sum it up? But then that's kind of, I like the podcast because on a radio they want like a 30-second soundbite. While on this I get to like deep dive into things and stuff. But going back to kind of like musicals and stuff, what are your favorite musicals? Has there been anything in the modern era from like Judy Garland that you're a really fan of? Like I love Hedwig and the Angry Inch, and I'm a sucker for
Yeah.
Dreamgirls and stuff. But what are your ones that you really dig?
I fucking love Singing in the Rain. I love Gene Kelly, and I want to marry him. I want to like resurrect his body, and I won't go farther than that. But no, so Singing in the Rain is a big one. Oh God, there's so many. I mean, obviously, like I love Grease, you know. I was in my high school's production of Grease. I got to play Rizzo. It felt like a badass the whole time. Yeah, I'm kind of drawing a blank on any other ones right now, but yeah, like I said, I drank a lot last night.
Just as a side note, I've just thought, I watched that new Godzilla vs Kong film the other day, and I'm like, that would make quite a good musical if they managed to get the score.
I haven't seen it.
Oh, it's really fun.
Yeah, I'll take your word for it.
Yeah, like the plot sucks, but it's just a giant lizard fighting a giant monkey, so you can't really go wrong with it.
That's awesome.
Well, with obviously your music and things, you have that optimism. Has kind of your perspective on songwriting changed from, say, like Winter's Come and Gone off your self-titled in 09 to like I'll Be a Star Tomorrow off Honky Tonk Haze? Have you seen like a progression in your songwriting and perspective over that time?
Yeah, I think that at a certain point, I tried to like, I realized I needed to like challenge myself to write songs that aren't about like heartbreak or murder or being drunk.
Those three emotions.
Right, I know. God, Jesus Christ. I really love. Are you familiar with Corb Lund?
Yes.
Yeah, I fucking love him. Like, Corb, if you're listening to this, you're my future ex-husband. But he's a great writer. Like he writes these songs about like having cows around. Like it's hard to keep a white shirt clean. I'm like, how the fuck do you even like, because it sounds kind of corny when you probably write it down, but it's like fun little bangers. You're like, it is hard to keep a white shirt clean. So just like, I want to write songs that aren't about being heartbroken, but I'm just always heartbroken. I can't help it.
It is
always drunk.
Yeah, it is a hard one. Like I really like, there's a band called Pale Waves who are like this new wave indie-ish band from the UK. And the first album was great. The second album they just brought out, every single song is either a love song or a breakup song. And I was like kind of disappointed because I want them to like dig deeper, but obviously like the singer's in a new relationship, so you can see why it's that.
Yeah.
But it's like there's more to it than that. But like, do you have any like literary influences that you draw on to try and like dig deeper? Obviously you listen to like Cold and stuff.
Yeah. Oh God. It's, you know, I fucking love Bukowski. And St. Vincent Millay is another one who I really like. Pablo Neruda. God. But Bukowski and like Edna St. Vincent Millay are two that come to mind. I also write poetry because I'm like, if I'm not, it's really hard for me to write songs sometimes, and I want to like keep that muscle exercised. It sounds kind of gross. But yeah, and I'm actually going to try to put out like a chapbook zine thing as soon as I can get my shit together, just of my poetry, just, you know, because I do write. I'm just me, like, you know, you've met me over the internet. I'm very just like crass. And like, I think that that's why I was drawn to fucking Bukowski so hard. He was like a very fucking shitty person, but you know, I don't know what to do. I can't help it. And I just have always like, even before I read his stuff, I was like, I kind of write like this. I can like relate to this style, you know? So yeah, Bukowski is a big one. Fucking asshole.
Yeah, it is interesting. Like I always think you need something else on the creative back burner, because if you have writer's block, especially if you're a musician and you're just in that dry spell, it starts becoming like a self-fulfilling prophecy of you can't write anything.
Yeah.
If you are writing poetry, or like I'm working on a screenplay at the moment, and I like
Cool.
dabble in other stuff, it is one of those things that just helps you just keep everything going. But with like your poetry, do you take a different perspective to it instead of like how you'd write a song? Is it like you try and look for theme or narrative as a different way than you would for if you were with a guitar?
Yeah, it is totally different. I mean, I don't really write rhyming poetry, you know? I didn't even like realize what the difference between prose and poetry was. Like I had to fucking Google that shit, and it was like, oh, prose is like a paragraph and poetry has like line breaks. And I was like, ow, cool.
Yeah.
But so yeah, my shit doesn't really rhyme. And it's just about like my experience right then. Like I wrote one recently when I was like at a bar drunk and was just like, you know, talking about a couple that I saw that were probably on a date, and, you know, just trying to like observe my surroundings and just kind of write about it. So that's a lot of that.
Oh, cool. Like I am like when I discovered Walt Whitman and you realize the poems didn't really have to rhyme and it was all free verse, you could just do anything. That was really freeing to me. And it was also, I kind of use that in music to be like, if a poem, all it has to do is have line breaks. Music, all it has to do is be set to music and sung, so you don't really have any other rules outside of that, which is a really freeing thing once you start experimenting with other mediums.
Yeah. Yep. You know, I wrote poetry when I was, I still have all my old physical journals from like age fucking 12 to like 17. And I used to write poetry, you know, when I was 13, that was like so dramatic and emo and like my heart breaks and like anime drawings and then like a sad stupid poem by a fucking 13-year-old. So I've been doing it a long time, you know. I'm pretty I'm kidding. Yeah, it's fucking funny.
Yeah, like when you go back and read like because I go back and sometimes I find like the old journals and things, and it's kind of like if Edgar Allan Poe fronted like the Rasmus or something, and you just like, what the fuck was I like writing to try and like have everything so over the top dramatic? And you realize as you get older that there's so much gray.
Yeah. Hold on for 1 second. I'm gonna try to take you off Wi-Fi and see if I get a better reception, because you're kind of breaking up a little bit. You got me?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, the Wi-Fi here fucking sucks. I'm so sorry.
It's okay.
So can you say what you said right when you were breaking up?
Oh yeah. I was just saying about like when I was like, I looked back on some wild stuff and it was kind of like Edgar Allan Poe fronted the Rasmus, and it was just really over the top, dramatic and gothic, and it was just like, as I've gotten older, I've started trying to write songs about it, where when you're younger you see all these problems as like massive and monumental, and as you get older you just realize that like that period of your life didn't really matter in terms of like what you were feeling. I remember my cousin, she's like 13 years younger than me, when she was in high school and she was getting bullied and stuff, and I was like, it doesn't seem this way, but you will not give a shit about this in 10 years. But when you're in the moment, you just can't think of like anything else.
Yeah, it's always like everything feels like an existential fucking
Sorry, your connection's breaking up now.
crisis when you're a kid, and then you're just had it like it kind of set. Am I there?
Yeah, that sentence like broke down and elongated and stuff. Is it?
Okay. If I start breaking up, just like hold up your finger and then I'll know to shut the fuck up.
Okay.
Just give me the finger. I was just saying that, yeah, when you're a kid, it's kind of like existential crisis. Everything is about me. And I remember kind of the point at which I just like, it dawned on me. I was like, nobody gives a fuck about me. Like, I don't matter.
Yeah.
Like, you know, like being like nothing matters, but it is like, you know, we all just are fucking doing our thing, and yeah, it's not, the world doesn't revolve around Alison self. So
yeah, it is a really weird like realization. Like I always like in my Instagram bio and stuff, I put like fits existential crisis into 3 minutes and shit. And I really I have that kind of thought space. Like I kind of view myself as a nihilistic optimist, where I do have that viewpoint of nothing matters, so you may as well have the most fun. and enjoy what you've got.
Dude, exactly. Like, dude, that's me. We're like kindred spirits because there's like it's like an old like anarchist that said, even if the world were to end tomorrow, I'd plant a tree today.
Yeah, that's such a good
Just to like
saying.
be like, yeah, it's so great. And it's like kind of like dramatic, but it's true, you know, very poetic.
Yeah, it is like, can you
Those
remember?
anarchists.
Yeah, can
Us
you remember
anarchists.
like a single, like, when did you kind of come to that realization of this kind of mindset or viewpoint, or has it been something that you've kind of picked up along the way?
I think it was like probably like right before I kind of like turned 21 and like I moved out on my own when I was like 18. And just like, yeah, like stupid fucking teenager, you know? And then I was kind of like, oh, well, it's just me. So I got to like make sure I'm like keeping my shit together. And I was just like, yeah, the world doesn't revolve around me, you know? Like I'm just kind of a little speck.
Yeah, no, definitely. Like, it's just a really weird feeling and realization, but it's so freeing when you get to, like, I remember I must have been about like in the 20s when I was starting to like I'd been working since I was 16 and just shit jobs, and
Yeah,
that
same.
if you don't realize the world doesn't care about you before you work a shit job, you learn it pretty fucking quick when you do.
Yeah. It's very true.
Yeah, but with like your music and stuff, do you ever like, what do you think is the best song that conveys kind of like your mind point or your like your perspective like at the moment? Like, do you have a song where you're like, this is truly encaptured what I'm trying to get across as like my true self?
Yeah. So Darlene and Jamie, it's on the new EP. I always consider it my working class anthem. Just like the addiction and the poverty that I was around and how it's just so hard to break that fucking cycle. And I somehow broke the cycle as far as like I don't live in my small town and I didn't like develop, you know, like a method or like, you know, people do what they do and like no shame. But for me, it was like, wow, I got out. Like I moved into a place and like got a job. Okay. All right. What was the last thing that you could hear?
Just before, when I was talking about getting out of like that situation where people have been with like meth and stuff, and like how you've managed to get out of it.
Yeah. And so that's what Darlene and Jamie is for me, is just like, this is what I dealt with and people still deal with it. And like, I got out of it, you know, I'm still fucking broke, but yeah. So that's just like, yeah, that's where I come from.
Yeah.
It's important to me. It's the only song that I've ever like written and just like sobbed while writing it.
Really? And was it hard to like write that down and like face it, or has that, like, had that song been brewing for a while and you finally found the right structural lyrics for it? Like, how long did it take to have that song from like concept to finished?
I wrote it in like 2014, 2015. And I just remember sitting in my room and just writing and just being like, okay, this is a fucking song now. Yeah, it was like therapy session, just being like, you know, like writing these lyrics. And I've never really like cried writing like an entire song. I probably wrote it in like an hour. Like when I write songs, it just comes out or it doesn't. Like I really try not to force it.
No, that's so interesting. And it is one of those things where when you kind of hit the nail on the head with that type of song, it is one of those things that can kind of like take you back. Have you been, because I know, did that EP come out late last year or in 2020?
It was November.
And like, did you manage to play that song Yeah. Oh, one sec. Sorry, that just it took. I just said November and then it glitched out. Oh.
Is it doing? Is it lagging?
Yeah, it just lagged a bit. Then I only heard from it. It was released in November, was it?
It's fucking internet connection. I swear to God. Yeah. So Honky Tonk Haze was released November 2020.
And before then, had you been playing those songs live? What had the reaction been to like that song and then the rest of like your set?
Yeah. When I played Darlene and Jamie, people would come up and be like, "Thanks for making me cry." And that'd be cool because then it's like, oh my God, people like relate to me. That's so fun. Like, isn't that cool? So yeah, I've been playing that song for like I'm bad at math, like over 5 years, and it's always well received. As far as the album songs, the only one that was brand new was I'll Be a Star Tomorrow. And I actually wrote that while my best friend was in the basement recording, and I was like listening to him record, and I was just like, I'm gonna write this shit down. So
cool.
Yeah. So that was maybe like the span of a week between writing it and then recording it, which I've never done before. So that was nerve-wracking.
Oh, awesome. And with Honky Tonk Haze on Spotify, it doesn't have the skits, but on Bandcamp it does. Was the like, because like when I first saw that you were doing the skits, I was like, oh, a hip hop fan. Was that kind of the first origins like that inspired you to put those in, or what was the thought process behind doing those breaks between the songs?
So, you're asking what inspired me to even like do the skits?
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Like I said, I'm a fucking ham. I just want to like make people laugh, and I wanted to like be an actress, and I'm just a fucking idiot. And I love old school rap and just rap in general, like love it. And so there's I grew up listening to like a bunch of 90s stuff, and there's like skits everywhere. There's also stuff like that within old time and blues, where little talky numbers before the song, like. And so I was just like, I want to do at least one. And then I was just like, no, we're going to do more. I was like, I'm putting a fucking skit in between every song. And we did all the sound effects ourselves, like the walking, the crowd noise. We just layered like 4 people talking over each other, bottles clinking together, like people being like, ah, it was really fun. Like recording the Foley was almost more fun than recording my album.
Yeah, because because I was reading the liner notes, everything except the AK, and there was another thing that you got off the internet, but everything else was you recorded yourselves.
Yeah, the cuckoo clock.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But with those kind of skits and like your hip hop influence and stuff, what kind of artists were you listening to, like the 90s thing? Because I just finished the Defiant Ones documentary on Netflix, which I'd not seen that kind of side of like the East Coast or the West Coast, sorry, like kind of things with Dr. Dre and things like that. What kind of artists were you listening to that inspired those? Because obviously, like from Eminem to D12 and tons of artists, but is there anyone that stands out in particular that you remember listening to and kind of taking inspiration from?
I listened to a lot of Salt and Peppa, and I know they had a couple skits on the album Very Necessary, which I owned on cassette. I would like rollerblade in my kitchen while listening to it. And they had like a couple skits. That was like AIDS was still, a big thing. Obviously it is now, but it was way more like public eye, like first kind of getting out there. And they had a fucking skit about like a partner telling someone that they had AIDS. And I was like 8 years old, just being like, holy shit, this is like cool, but also like what is happening, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It like blew me away. So and just I mean, trying to think, there's just so many, but that's the one that like comes to, like, I think that's the one that comes to mind right now with my wet brain.
Oh, cool. I remember I was watching it at Atlanta a while ago, and they were talking about, like, because it's all like the main character, like Paperboy, he's got his album, and he said it's like, you've got 49 skits on that, I'd probably cut them. It was just like, there just seems to be isn't many other institutions, because you say it's got a history in, kind of like with Johnny Cash and the Rambler and stuff, but there's not really been anything since then outside of hip hop that's kind of incorporated those type of things, and it's a really weird thing that doesn't get included in a lot of stuff. So it was great to see you bring it back kind of into country music.
Yeah, no, thank you. And that was kind of my thing. It was just like, my music is not like fundamentally different, you know what I mean? And I don't do it because I want to be like, I'm unique. It's like, no, I play fucking country music like everybody else. I sing about the same themes, but I was like, I want to do something to make this album like stand out a little bit, and kind of show my personality and, my comedic genius. I'm kidding. Yeah.
But I think that is something that comes across in your work, is there is not necessarily like a kind of in your face comedy too, but there is like that wit, and you quoting Star Trek in it and things, you have that kind of personality in it that's really enjoyable to listen to. Like because I remember I've put a few different like quotes and references to like TV shows and things in my music. Do you get like proud when you manage to find somewhere to actually put a reference into something that you're a fan of?
Yeah, thank you. It was fun. I love Star Trek.
Yeah. Like with that influence and stuff, has there been any influences or quotes or references from Star Trek or pop culture that you're a fan of that you've slipped into music that no one's picked up on yet, or anything that you're waiting for someone to discover?
No, not yet. I was like, I should write a country song about Star Trek, but guess what, man? It's already been done.
Really?
Yeah. So I want to shout out Dollar Country is a really good country 45 podcast. And there is a song, I think it's from the 70s, just this random song. I can't remember who does it, but it's about fucking Star Trek. And obviously it's the original series that they're talking about. And I listened to it and I was like, are you kidding me? I have to cover this. It's so cool. So no, the quote from Benjamin Sisko in that episode, you get on my nerves and I don't like your hat. It's just a good one. Cause it makes me think of like something that I would say to like some like shitty country hipster or something,
Yeah.
Like you get on my nerves and fuck your hat. Like you look like a stupid idiot.
Yeah. It's like in Breaking Bad when he's quitting the car wash. He's just like, fuck you and fuck your eyebrows. It's just,
I haven't seen that, but that sounds great.
It's like, that's the thing when it's like, I don't like you and I don't like that. That is something that would be said in like a bar to someone, like, unless you pointed out that it was a Star Trek reference, I think it would just slip a lot of people by.
Yeah. Yeah.
But going on from like, you've been kind of in the game for 12 years. I remember on the Rogue video, you talked about booking shows in Virginia back in like 2009. Being a part of the scene for so long, how have you seen the scene and like the genres kind of grow and change throughout the years?
It's cool now. And I fucking am so glad that it's like finally cooler than it was. I mean, at least from my perspective, like, I've been like begging people to come to like my shows and country shows for like that entire time. And I'm like, hey, who wants to go to the country show? And 6 years ago it was like, oh, I don't know. And now it's like everybody's country. And I'm like, fuck yeah, come to the show. I don't care. You'll be a fake cowboy.
When do you think was like the change?
Man, I don't know. I think it's maybe, I think everybody got tired of being rockabilly. They're like, we need a new identity. We're sick of classic cars. We're getting a fucking banjo.
Yeah, because I remember for the UK, like the country scene's kind of been stagnant for a while, and then it was the country to country festivals came over, which is like a really like pop country centric festival, and that was kind of dominating for years. And I kind of think the second wave of UK country was when the our vinyl sessions of Tyler Childers came out, like a few years ago. That seems to have been the switch for it to be like to go a bit more traditional to its roots. Have you seen that kind of influence from like, you can't really deny like what Tyler Childers and Cotterwall have kind of led the forefront in terms of this new younger version of country that seems to have happened in the last 5-6 years? That seems to be, to me, one of the biggest changes.
Yeah. And I think another thing is that fucking, what was I gonna say? So as pop country, don't get me wrong, I like a lot of pop country, maybe not so now, but dude, 90s pop country, early 2000s, like that's my shit. Neon Moon, fuck with me. But I think as pop country just fucking got so bad, I think that people were like, what is this shit? This is not country. People want real country. Like, that's not fucking country music, you know what I mean? Like, just because you have a fucking dobro doesn't mean that it's country. And so, yeah, I think there's just people popping out of the woodwork and, you know, just getting it done. And it's like, yeah, you know, Culture Wall, like I saw Culture Wall and like Tyler Childers, like 2 separate occasions in Austin. Like Culture Wall played to like 20 people at an outside venue, and now he's like fucking famous, which is dope. That's cool. But, you know, I mean, it was also like Margot Price, like, you know, and I don't know. It's good. I'm glad it happened.
Yeah, it does seem to be, because I remember, like, I was watching today, I fell down a bit of like a Bo Burnham rabbit hole because he was on the Green Room and stuff, but he did that country song where it's like he's literally just like listing all like the nouns and adjectives that you need to make a country hit.
Oh yeah, I think I've seen that. Heard it. I don't remember it, but I think I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, and I think it was kind of like you saw the 90s and 2000s country kind of laying the groundwork and still being, you know, country and sticking to its roots, and it got to the level of pandering and self-parody that it hit like a valve of pressure that these artists have then fell off, and you've seen like Isbell and Price and Stapleton take advantage of, and you just see that people are just getting sick of things. And that's what I really enjoy about kind of your stuff, and, you know, even like Childers before he broke like huge, is there is like this underground wave of country artists that give a shit and are authentic and stay true to the roots and produce fucking amazing country music. Like Honky Tonk Haze is, to me, a really fucking incredible country album that can stand toe to toe with a lot of people.
Thank you. That's awesome that you say that. I really appreciate it, because, you know, I mean, as an artist, I'm just like, this shit sucks. So thanks.
Yeah. But like, with seeing how the scene's grown since like 2009 and stuff, and since you've been a part of it, has it always been kind of like, yay, like finally you're coming to my shows, or it's like, you motherfuckers, I told you about this like 10 years ago?
It's just funny, you know, and I'm not, you know, I don't want to like gatekeep anything, but it's just funny because like I have been fucking like doing this shit for a minute, and not full time the whole time, but I've been playing regularly for fucking over 10 years, and it's insane when I think about it. And so it is kind of like, I feel like I have some fucking street cred, dude. Yeah. It's like, and I don't tout it. I wouldn't be like, blah, blah, blah. I mean, you know what I mean? Like I try to, but if someone is like fucking been in the game for like a year and tries to like, especially like a man, like I've had men try to like mansplain me fucking like country music history or something, and they're just like wrong. And I'm like, no. I was like, you just because you like read a fucking article about fucking Johnny Cash doesn't mean that like you're now a fucking country music historian. Like, back the fuck up.
Yeah.
Like, you know, Yeah, or shit like where people just are obviously putting on this like cowboy persona. I won't mention any band names, but it's just like that's what kind of just annoys me, and I'm not gonna like fucking rally against it, but it's like I know you're fucking fake, and when you're done with the fucking country trend, you're just gonna put on another fucking costume. So
that
bye.
has been the thing with kind of the rise and trend of country, and especially like underground and rootsy stuff coming to the forefront. A lot of people have seen it as a stepping stone to be like, if I do this, I can go back to playing my shitty rock music, and people will follow me through it just because I had an acoustic guitar and mentioned moonshine once.
Yeah. And I mean, it's a nuanced situation, but I definitely just know people who like know bands who just fucking like they just try so hard, and like you don't have to like all look like fucking Woody from Toy Story for your band to be country. Just like it's cool. Like look at me right now, I'm wearing a fucking stupid hat. But it's like, it's just some people it's just like calm down, bro. Like
with kind of like
it's funny.
your music and writing songs and stuff, do you ever have to take a step back and do you ever get in your head about the cliches of like the honky tonks and country music? Do you ever sit down and go, is that too like self-aware, or is that too much of a callback to something? Like, do you ever get too in your head about writing lyrics for country music? Because I kind of, when I'll write something, like I don't think I've written a song that's mentioned a whiskey glass yet, because I'm quite like in my head about like I don't want to fall into the trap of saying whiskey every 5 seconds.
Yeah, I think it's kind of like what I said earlier. Like I do try in the last, whatever, 5 years to challenge myself to write a song that's not about some cliche, some shit that everybody else writes about. But with that being said, people write about it because everybody fucking experiences it, And it's like everything I've written about, like I think I might have one song where it's maybe like not real or something, you know what I'm saying? But everything I write is like what I've experienced, like Darlene and Jamie, like songs about train hopping. It's like I've hopped fucking trains, like it's just true. It's my experience. So, but yeah, I need to just like write a fucking country song about like a lamp or something, like you know what I mean? Yeah, sometimes, but then I'm like, I try not to overthink it because I'm already an anxious person. So then I just probably wouldn't write music ever.
Yeah. With hopping trains, like being from the UK, zero experience of this. We have like the rail is all privatized, and like if you get on it without a ticket, you're getting fucked. But like, what is actually what entails hopping trains? Like, how and where do you do it, and how like where do you find these trains to hop on and off?
Yeah, I mean, it's a huge fucking culture, and it has been for, I think it was like post Civil War, obviously, when the trains were, people were fucking poor, dude. Like that's when I think that was like when the homeless population like exploded. Because of fucking poor veterans who, like today get done with the army and to get fucking kicked to the side for the most part, but so yeah, I mean, in my experience, like so I hopped, like I could probably count on like 1 or 2 hands the like amount of times that I've ridden a train. And so I'm not like I'm a train rider. I'm like hitchhiked mostly because I don't like, it's fucking intense. It's scary. It's like one of the scariest things I've ever done is to run after a moving train and just like be like, well, hope I don't fucking get my legs cut off, but it's, yeah, it's it's weird. It's a weird thing to think about, like, oh yeah, I did that. People do that. Yeah, there's just like certain parts of like the train yard that you go to, and people who know people will kind of share secrets. And it was before like the internet kind of blew up. It was like, yo, don't fucking like blow up the spot, like don't invite people who are like gonna like give away that this is like the hop out spot. But since the internet, like it's just like it's and then like the Book of Asian happened. It's like Yeah.
Yeah, it's been one of those things that's always kind of blew my mind that it's a thing, because here we can't even put our feet on the seat in like on a train. So it's
Jesus.
to like have these huge trains, because like my experiences are the "Oh Brother Where Art Thou" scene where they're fleeing from the line.
Yeah.
There's an episode of Criminal Minds where they think the killer is using the trains, and they find all the graffiti of like symbols and stuff on the wall of like what stuff means. And that's it for me,
Mm-hmm.
like what like this train hopping culture and this
Mm-hmm.
thing is in America. So it's always kind of just blown my mind that that's not just a thing that happens, but something that happens regularly.
Yeah. It's crazy. I mean, it's Americana, dude. It's like, as the world gets more, or sorry, the United States gets more developed, and more rural areas are getting like developed and etc. Like riding a train is like, it's so romantic, right? But it's like, it is fucking romantic, because like when I rode a train, like I rode through like western Baltimore, which is like mountains, and it was just like beautiful, and it's like some people will never see that except for like the train conductor and like the fucking hobos that are stowed away in the fucking grainer, like 50 cars back. It's like, it's just great. So great experience. Wouldn't recommend it, to be fucking completely honest, because you will die. You will die if you do not know what you're doing. Like I know multiple people who just aren't with us anymore because it doesn't stop. It's a giant steel monster, and it doesn't give a fuck about you.
Yeah. Well, I knew I was already out the second you said you had to run.
Yeah, you can catch it when it's still too, but it's just it depends on the person and the train and all these things.
Yeah. So with obviously growing up and being in Virginia, you're now in, is it Portland?
Portland.
Yeah. What's the country scene and what's the like root scene like where you are now?
Portland has a great country scene. There's a lot of really good musicians here. A lot of cool bands. I mean, I lived in Austin before here for 2 years, and it's nowhere is like Austin. Like I've lived in Nashville, like Nashville's Nashville, Austin's Austin, and nothing can compare to that for me personally. But yeah, Portland got Landmark Saloon is kind of like the country bar, and was having music like every night before COVID, and they've been around for like a couple years now, so it's established. And then other bars will do stuff too. I was booking like a once a month honky tonk night at this other bar to try to do like a late night, like 10 p.m. to 2 a.m. because like that's the thing too, is a lot of bars are in neighborhoods here, and they can't have loud noise after like 11 or midnight, which sucks. Because if I'm bartending and I get off work at 10, I want to go like see a band and drink some fucking liquor. So yeah, it's great.
No, it's crazy. In the UK, I don't know if there's anywhere that can stay like with live music past 11. Like it's always, that's just the cutoff for things, even like any live show. But with Poland, what was it that made you like move to there and stick around really? Because obviously I've not been to the States. My only experience of Portland is like the show Portlandia, and then kind of references I've seen through TV and stuff. What was it about that area that's kind of like spoke to you?
Yeah, so I was shitting blood for a year when I was living in Austin, Texas, and could not get healthcare. I made like almost no money. I think I made just over the amount for the income limit, and I was like, dude, something's like fucking wrong. And stuff just lined up to where like I was taking a trip to Santa Cruz, and I was talking to my friends about it, and they were like, dude, California has really great state healthcare if you're poor, so does Oregon. And so I eventually was like, well, I know more people in Oregon, so I caught a ride up, got on Oregon health plan, and like within like 2 weeks found out I had fucking colon cancer.
Shit.
Yeah, so that was cool. And I'm fine now. I'm still I went through surgery, did like 3 months chemo. But yeah, I'm in Portland mostly because I couldn't leave. Because I had to do 3 to 6 month checkups like all last year. Only this year has it been like okay, I'm gonna meet with my oncologist like in 6 months, because everything looks good, blood work, and so I'll be under, I guess, surveillance for like another 2 or 3 years, and then I think when you hit 5-year mark, you're technically cured. So.
Oh well, it's good that like it's in remission and it's being like checked and things. That's really like great news.
Yeah.
Did that affect kind of, because you like, just from talking to you for this and seeing you work and stuff, you are an optimistic person. Has that affected you, like, not just obviously it's going to affect you emotionally and physically and stuff, but has that affected you like creativity and things? Were you still writing during all that and things?
Yeah, I think that I don't think I was writing that much, honestly. I was probably writing more poetry than I was songs. And I was playing shows here and there, but one of the side effects of the chemo that I was getting is neuropathy, where it feels like you're like, if I drank cold water, it would like hurt. Because it's like poison in your body, and it made your nerves think that it was like cold when it wasn't. And so for like a couple days, like I was just like wiped out and like probably couldn't have like gripped a guitar. You know what I mean? And that, thankfully, thank fucking God, it only lasted for like a week. And I'm just like, yeah, I don't really feel much like playing the guitar.
Yeah.
Fucking writing a song. So, yeah.
No,
I still want to write a cancer song. I just don't know how to do it.
Yeah, that's something. I worked in a cancer center for 7 years in the UK, and like I just worked as like a clerk and stuff, and kind of worked my way up there. And it's I'm kind of, obviously I've not had the kind of, like, I've lost people to it, and I've known people to go through it, and I've had that person, but I've never had it personally affect me. So I don't know if I'm the right, like, basically I'm qualified to do it. I don't have a perspective that I think could do it justice.
Yeah.
And the only one I've ever really heard that was like kind of got it was Isabel's Elephant.
Oh my God, that song is like, that's like the first Jason Isbell song I really heard and was like, I just like fucking sobbed. You know, so that's a great fucking song.
Yeah, but yeah, it's weird because when I was working, there's if you'd get patients and family members writing poems and songs and conveying their experience, and it's just a heartbreaking thing to witness and hear of these people trying to like process themselves through art. It's really, it shows the value and the power of like music and art and creativity.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. But with kind of Honky Tonk Haze, what are you working on now? Do you have anything coming up that you're planning on recording, or once kind of COVID dies down, are you looking at hitting the road and touring? What's kind of your plans for 2021 going into 2022?
Yeah. I want to make a fucking music video. I had one that is like maybe still going to come together, but just for COVID and like work reasons, like my friend who filmed it is just like has no time to fucking edit it. So I'm going to put that, just let him kind of do that when he does it. But I really want to do a music video. Like, I love music videos. I just sit and watch YouTube music videos, like drink fucking beer. So I want to do a music video. I'm going to Texas in July. Probably for the entire month. I'm just, I got like a couple shows. I'm getting more shows. I think a friend and I are going to go out to Houston and maybe Galveston and just kind of bounce around.
Oh, awesome.
So yeah, I might live there for like a couple months and get out of Portland like once it gets cold.
Yeah.
Because I don't think I can do another Portland winter, man. I want to like walk in front of a bus.
Does it get, because that's the Pacific Northwest, is that where it gets like super cold and things?
Yeah, it's just fucking rainy and gloomy, you know, and I'm from Virginia. We're temperate. We have seasons that even when it is winter, it's like still sunny. It doesn't like rain all the fucking time. I hate the weather out here. I don't know how people do it. They're like, people from Portland are like, oh, but the summer here is like so beautiful. And I'm like, what, the like 2 months? People are running around like half naked because they're like, I don't want to kill myself anymore. Hurrah! You know?
Yeah. No, that's
also, like, I want to fucking grow
Yeah, that sounds exactly
I
like
want to
Brit.
grow tomatoes like I could in Virginia. The growing season here is like so short.
Mm,
Uh,
yeah, no, today we had snow, rain,
yeah.
and sun in like the space of 3 hours. So that sounds exactly like here.
God. Yeah, Jesus Christ. Well, Godspeed to you. Good luck.
Yeah, but yeah, we're coming up to like the hour mark, so I want to let you go so you can have the rest of your day and enjoy the Portland weather and stuff. But have you got any plans to
Yeah,
come over
it's
to the
nice
UK?
outside right now.
Oh, awesome!
I would love to. I would love to. I have some friends over there. I have a friend who I was like, yo, we should get married so that like you can come here and I can go there. But I don't have a passport. I've never left the country. It's always been a money issue for me. So I'd like to. It's money. It's money. Everything is money.
It is, unfortunately.
Everything, So, but yeah, someone booked me a tour for free.
Yeah, they should definitely do that. But thanks so much, Alison. I'll let you go so you can enjoy the rest of your day. But I really appreciate you taking the time to chat to me today.
Thank you. Yeah, thanks, Mike.
Thank you so much. And there we have it, folks. That's episode 34 of Into the Van, Into the Bag. Thank you so much for checking it out. If you've enjoyed this podcast, please leave a review on Apple, wherever you're listening to it. Tell a friend, more importantly, share the podcast around. It only gets bigger with your help. And it only continues with your help as well, man. I can't do this talking into a void. I need people to, let me know they're listening to it. I see the numbers. I see you guys are paying attention, and it means the world to me. Go check out Rogue Radio. Go check out The Next Life. Here's a little secret for you guys. I'm going to be doing a guest set over on Gimme Country as a listeners show on the 24th of July. That's a Saturday. I am so fucking stoked for that, to bring Rogue Radio and Rogue Country to a bigger platform, and to bring my friends, the artists I respect, to a bigger platform is something I'm absolutely thrilled about. So please keep an eye out for that. This is the first place I'm telling people about it. So yeah, do that. Keep supporting all the artists you love. Keep supporting all the things you love. Keep making the things you love as well, guys. That's the most important thing in the world. Until next time, peace.